Soul Garden. Live, love, be.
Good morning. From my smartphone to yours, I'm casting some love. Captured live at the stepº24 Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California. This is your Monday Namaste Today. Can't find love? That day is over. With just 8 numbers, we can reveal all your secrets to sex and love. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. Find out the secret to your heart at secretsofbirthdays.com. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, stepº24. My modality is psychic astrology, and my personal mission is to unite the light in my heart so I can help other people unite the light in theirs. This webisode is for Monday, March 14th, 2016. Over the weekend, the Great Human Walk has reached step 24 Pisces. And for those who are just joining us, Pisces consciousness is the subconscious part of the human race. It's the part of us that is mostly only comes up once a year, that we try to repress all the time. It's where our spiritual memory is. It's where our karma is, which is what spiritual memory really is. And it's also how we connect to the highest form of God consciousness while incarnated on Earth. And this week, as we go from step 24 onward, we will be attempting to connect to that highest God consciousness. And I'll talk more about that in a bit. But first, a shout out to a viewer, Lorraine Lucas, who is the kind soul that gave me this gratitude pillow. Thank you so much, Lorraine. I appreciate it. And she also gave me this card. I put it on the overhead projector. And I'm so grateful. I just want to say thank you. I guess I gave her a quick little reading after a John Edward event, and it must have stuck. So I usually just work with my guides when I'm inspired and read people if there's messages. So thank you. I'm very grateful. And many people have actually asked me, they want to send little tokens of appreciation. And also there are people who do crafts and things that are light worker, pro light worker stuff, that you might want to send me something that I can share with the viewers on the air. So on my website at soulgarden.tv, you'll see that there is now a link where there's an address, and you can tell us, hey, this is coming, and the girls will look out for it. The ladies working for us in the office, and we'll make sure it comes on the air. So thank you so much, Lorraine. I'm grateful. I'm going to actually put this pillow on my couch at home, but you'll see it in the first 3 episodes of this week. Okay, so let's move on to today's vibe. Today's vibe is sunny but very still. Sunny but very still. I think it'll be a very still day. This is because we're at step 24, and normally step 24 is not so still, but you'll see in the Zen Den that we have what I call a grand square or a grand cross, triggered by the moon. And what this does is create a frustrating kind of straitjacket energy. And the best thing to do, especially in Pisces, is just to relax a little and not hang on to any detail. So it's sunny but still. My heart today is accepting where I spiritually belong. That's the core goal today, is to accept where I spiritually belong. My heart is seeking that acceptance, and it has to feel right. All right? Now, as far as emotions, they're energetic. They're talkative today. They're kind of chatty. They're chaotic. They'll go back and forth. They'll probably be hypocrite and two-face. That's because the moon's in Gemini, same sign as Donald Trump, incidentally. And so we'll all be little Trumps today, I think, as we go out and speak. I'm open to feeling the new self-compassion and peace that's possible. I want to feel new compassion. I want to feel total peace. I'm open to feeling that now. I'm thinking about what will work best, what will flow best, what's the most sacred. These are the questions that are on my mind. I guess I'm like a Jewish mother today. And that's what I'm thinking about. I am feeling the new self-compassion. I am pushing for the new self-compassion. That's because Mars is at step 2, also pushing today. And so we've got this powerful emotion that wants to open up, but you'll see that it's kind of bridled anyways. And finally, I'm deciding what beliefs work smoothly and what beliefs align with my spirit. So in other words, what beliefs should I commit to? What belief should I commit to? That's what I'm trying to decide with Saturn. So today, your joy question, you choose to accept it, is to simply open up to what works. Open up to what works. You may be surprised. And the reason why you may be surprised is because there's the 4 and the 24 today. That element is an Aquarian element. It's the element of where you truly belong. And the reason why you may be surprised is, unless you absolutely know where you truly belong, then where you truly belong might be a surprise. So expect the unexpected, open up, and see what happens. And also realize that traffic will be a little slow due to some congestion up in the celestial skies. So let's move on to today's topic, Designed to Inspire. And one more little shout out I'll do. This week is Energy to Angels Week. I have 6 more episodes of Mary Beth Murphy and the Energy to Angels. And I waited till this week because we'll be personally, each of us, being in the angelic kind of energy this week. Step 24, 25, 26 Pisces. This is the angelic kind of realm. This is kind of maybe where they would hang out. Look, they just blew to, I think, affirm there. So this is the perfect time to be mindful of the other graceful spiritual energy that is supporting you besides Namaste today. There's a lot of angels out there. All right, let's move on to today's topic. Today's topic is spiritual ecstasy. What is my highest good? And this was actually inspired by my 2 friends, Misty Cooper and Rebecca Drew, who are radio hosts to a radio spiritual talk show that I was honored to be on. In fact, you can see that on my website or listen to it on my website. If you go into the Psychic Lounge, there's a posting for this. So shout out to the ladies. But they inspired me because they asked me that question, what is my spiritual ecstasy? And why don't I pose that to you? That is the 5 o'clock question. What is spiritual ecstasy to you? Does it even have a definition? Have you thought about it? Have you aimed for it? Does it matter? And the follow-up, how often do you experience it? Little Dr. Evil coming out there, but I was resisting. So I'll answer these questions, and I'll answer as I said on the show, and this is true. I had to think about it for a couple seconds, actually, to really dive deep into my personal story about what is the spiritual ecstasy to me. And really, I've actually come up with another level of it. But the first level that came on camera was, I love seeing that spark in a person's eyes when they get it. I just get this, like, total joygasm, like I go with you in that moment when someone expands, and sometimes I can feel people actually doing that while they're watching, and it's such a joygasm. It's such spiritual ecstasy to see people just bloop, like bloom open with their consciousness. It's so beautiful to me. But I did some more soul searching and realized spiritual ecstasy even goes deeper, because there's something in me that wants to please God and be like, look what I did. So there's some deeper meditation I have to do there, to be honest with you. Now, how often do I get to experience spiritual ecstasy? I'm blessed because I get my spiritual ecstasy with every reading I give, and I get paid to do it. So I have created the most perfect job in the universe where I can assess a person, get in there, see their soul, help them go from here to here, and then if they come back and I see that arc, and it's really great. The point here is spiritual ecstasy is part of what we came here for. Let's review a little bit. I come back from a Buddhist background. A lot of people ask. I chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. I do chant it. I haven't had time to chant it as recently, which is ironic. I've been trying to get settled into a place, but Buddhism speaks to enlightenment and world peace, and that's where I started thinking about this idea of what is the most greatest joy, or the spiritual ecstasy, as my lady friends had put it. Over time I realized, doing horoscopes day after day after day after day, it's like, what am I doing here? Where am I trying to lead them? I could intuitively felt that I was trying to lead people places, but I didn't really know where I was leading them. And when I sat down and realized it, I realized I'm trying to help people reach enlightenment. I'm trying to help people feel whole. I'm trying to help people hit some serious effing joy. Right? And I meant it, seriously. So to me, serious joy is spiritual ecstasy, is this this state of being. It is a state of being. It is a way of being. It is not a destination. And there are no tests to get there. It's possible right here and now. So, I went to high school in Arkansas, and I met some Christian brothers and sisters down there, and I had a very sharp negative opinion of Christianity, to be honest, at that time in my high school age, which is funny. I had an opinion about a religion so much. But anyways, I actually came to respect these Christians because they were in their hearts, and they were glowing, and they were in serious joy all the time. All the time. You can't fake that shift. Okay, so the Bible got them there, and I had mad respect. I'm like, okay, clearly this is a case by case scenario as far as whether the church works for somebody or not, but it did, and I had to as a soul respect it. So there are people reaching serious joy. There are people walking in spiritual ecstasy every day. Some places to point out in your life, it's that you might just start looking to at least honor the spiritual ecstasy in your life, which would be, moments in songs. I know that I hit a spiritual ecstasy or serious joy when I hit certain moments in a song. I know that I hit in a certain movie. If I'm moved enough by the whole story, I just hit this bliss of serious joy. And I've come to realize that, life isn't always these extremes. So I do, actually, in honoring serious joy, in honoring spiritual ecstasy, I honor, the moments that are difficult. Sometimes I get through them because I know that I'm going to appreciate that ecstasy, which is right around the corner. I know I'm going to appreciate that serious joy. So I'm willing to go through this little moment too. So I think sometimes focusing on the positive has effects you don't realize, which is that it gets you through the negative. And if you make a practice of aiming and embracing and honoring your spiritual ecstasy or serious joy, or whatever term you want to use that makes you feel comfortable, I think when you practice this serious joy, you begin to get it more. When you embrace it and honor it, you begin to draw it in your life more often. The universe gets your message to it of what you're looking for. So, like I said, serious joy to me is a state of being. It's not a destination. It's a lifestyle. And I'm not trying to do a hidden pitch here for my tech service, but I'll be very honest and say I think that every 2 hours people need to be reminded to get back in their heart every 2 hours. That's why I built the system, because I need it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times it saved me over this weekend. I was just like, oh, I must have been channeling there. I must have been channeling for myself there. And that happens too. So the point is that today we're at step 24 of Pisces, and we're at a place where we're really looking for our spiritual ecstasy. We're really looking for our serious joy. And to get there, you have to recognize these truths that I've passed on to you, which is that it's a lifestyle. It requires constant attention every 2 hours. You have to honor and cherish and protect the parts of your life that already have had these moments so that they can be replicated by the universe and they can be not trespassed upon by others, trespassed upon by others. And the last thing I'll leave you with on this topic is that I believe serious joy has to be practiced every day. Okay? Practice makes master. And practice means that you set out time and space, step 0, time and space, where you go, okay, I'm going to practice being happy for this next 5 effing minutes. You know what I mean? Like, and then go! If that's where you start, that's where you start. But, you have to thread into your consciousness the life you want to have every day. Whether or not you want it or not on any given day, you got to keep showing up for it. So to practice your serious joy or spiritual ecstasy is a great thing. And that's why I'm so grateful. I get to practice about 15 or 20 times a week. All right, my friends, let's now move on to the Zen Den. And welcome to the Zen Den. So let's take 3 breaths together and connect to our guides. And, today, among all days, you want to set a tone of what spiritual peace is. Because if you think you find the right solution, you want to compare that feeling to the spiritual peace. So it's like, does it feel like the peace I had in the 3 breaths? No, it doesn't feel like that. Okay, well, your spirit, okay, that's the great thing. So you want to always ground, at least get one spiritual, take the temperature of your spirit, you know what I mean, once a day if you can. Okay. So I'm putting a beautiful curtain of blue light around us and protecting us, and filling that blue light with golden light to charge and amp you so you're recharged and revitalized today. And I have an affirmation for you that will help you on your way. And it is, I feel my truth today and where I truly belong. I feel my truth today and where I truly belong. Now, honestly, I'm trying to help you with the first one, I feel my truth today. The 3 breaths bring us into I feel my truth today. Okay, that's my truth. That's my center. Now, through the day, where do I truly belong? Where does this go with this? And if we don't take this temperature, we won't know. So today, where I truly belong, that will come into play. But by putting it in my mind today, my mind is looking for those 2 things. I feel my truth and where I truly belong. That's what my mind is looking for. Okay, so let's turn on our overhead projector, actually, and I have to clap to sync it. The editor knows why. And see what the planets have to say. Well, for starters, we are at step 24 here on the edges of Pisces. And step 24 actually adds to a 6 if you don't know. And what that means is that we're looking for that harmony. We're looking for the easygoing harmony at the end of the day. Anyone who's a step 24 in any sign is a natural-born artist who finds the harmony. And they're more of a radical artist because they have that 4 in there, that Aquarius, that kookiness in their character. So we could have a lot of unexpected, turns in the story. Now, if you look at this from the big picture, you can see this giant red square here. This is what I call a grand square. It's also a grand cross. It's triggered by the moon over here, caught at step 12 at the moment, but in Gemini. Now, the Gemini is our emotions are kind of being torn, tossed and turned by our mind. And, I always say the smartass is Gemini. The mind has two things of comparison all the time. And so when the moon moves into Gemini, emotions are like, well, maybe this, or maybe this, or maybe this. So I think we're getting batted back and forth, and that's what's actually maybe keeping things from moving, literally, because the moon is the cause of this. But it ends up being a tug-of-war between our emotions and our beliefs, Gemini and Sagittarius. So we're like, well, I believe this, but I feel that, but I believe this, but I feel that. And then, of course, we have this opposition, which we've been working on the entire transit, which is faith versus reality. All right, Jupiter is retrograde. It is waiting for instructions on what to create when it goes direct and what to manifest quickly. It's very much all based on this faith. So for people, to put it simply, the tug-of-war for today and tomorrow, really, we're going to be in traffic, and tomorrow is like a super voting day. So I think tomorrow is going to be intense for the planet in this grand square as everyone's kind of held back waiting for results. But it is, faith versus reality, and your thoughts versus your beliefs. Faith versus your reality and your thoughts versus your beliefs. And you can see this. I think some people who are in the Trump camp are all in their thoughts and maybe not thinking about what they really believe, or maybe they're all in their beliefs, but they're not really processing the thoughts out. You can see that, but I'm sure that's true in every camp, by the way. I'm not trying to pick on any one. But then faith versus reality, the same thing. I mean, we're like, what's real? Can you really, social democracy? Really? Like everyone's like, is that even Virgo possible? And then, of course, then there's the Bernie Sanders and I can't remember his name, Kassan. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his name, God bless his soul, but he's from Ohio. And Republican side is being positive too, and like throwing up to the Pisces positive, like, oh, it can, it can work. And forgive me for not having it on the back of my tongue, but not much of a Republican. So today we're looking for the perfect balance. 2 + 4 makes 6. 6 is the balance. Here it is, folks. The balance is between faith and between reality and between what you think and what you believe. Now, I'll give you a couple extra credit points here. Sensei, I'll give you some extra credit. It's here. Mars is in Sagittarius at step 2, which means the God universe is having our egos, our knights, the dumbass in us, which turn into knights when we finally get them tamed. The royal knights. The knights are pushing inside of us to go with what we feel about what we believe. Saturn is saying, hey, you've got to make a spiritual decision, step 16, what flows, this is a 6, but what flows easy as far as beliefs are concerned. So if you ask me, the spiritual work is on your beliefs. Do you believe this? Is this what flows? Does this make spiritual sense? Then if that's the case, then you tell the smartass to quit rattling the baby with different ideas, because you've already made a decision of what the policy is over here, is how I think this works. And that's how I coach a person in a reading. The only last thing I'll just point out, just for funnies, because I'm running over today, is Venus is also at step 2. So Mars and Venus, okay, completely squared, basically. I mean, they're completely on opposite sides of the fence here, but they are united in emotion. Female energy is in step 2. Male energy is in step 2. So, boom, there's also part of the grid, and the grid lock is the male side of us and the female side of us are trying to find balance in all of this too. And that is, of course, how much we give, Mars, versus how much we receive, Venus. Alrighty, that is it for today. What do we want to say? Hey, if you were watched over by my personal Sensei network, which is getting better and better every day, I'm having a great time writing these texts. Today at 3 o'clock your local time, you will get your eye candy, and your eye candy will be where God talks to you first. So looking at the chart, Neptune tells me by placement and step number and sign how God tends to come into your consciousness. I'll give you some clues to that at 3 o'clock your local time. And I have to say, the reading sale was a great success. I'm turning it off now for a while because I've booked and booked and booked. I'm so anxious to meet everybody. But I will say this, that I have these birthday calls, which are really cool. I've started doing these where for a price I will call either as a surprise, or you can buy one for yourself. You for 10 minutes on your birthday. We rap about your year ahead. It's a good connection. It's a happy birthday. And people love it when it's a surprise. They love it. In fact, I have to figure out a way to release some of these calls because, I don't really get permission to record them. But they're great. Don't miss out. It makes a great gift. So grateful for the inspiration that brought me to that. All right, my friends, I will see you tomorrow with more. I hope you are in your hearts. You may feel stuck in a straitjacket, but listen to your hearts and see what flows today, because that is the sign. I'll see you in 24 hours with more. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.